It was August 2014. Um, I was out of fourth grade at the time. Um, I had a wonderful spring semester of, you know, fourth grade. The first half, most of the year of 2014 was going very, very well. All on these highs, all on, these side subjects, and everybody was so nice, and I remember having such, fun and making very, very great memories, and, there's really a lot of nostalgia, come from that year, I do have to say. Um, at the beginning of 2014, I moved schools from Whittier to Wilder, and I just loved my teacher, Miss Reinhardt. She was very, very, very nurturing, loving, a very kind hearted person, and she was very genuine, and was was the hugging type of person. Um, and um, so during that time, I was watching a lot of Ciao Italia. An episode came on, and on Monday, and then Friday, um, season 23, and then on Saturdays, it was season 21 of Ciao Italia. So 3 episodes of it a week that I kept watching over and over again until I got sick and tired of it, watching the episode. And I always looked forward to watching that, and there were a couple times when I got very, very upset about an episode not being recorded. One time, when it was the middle of winter, oh, well, I didn't put too much on that. The time when it was, on Valentine's Day, which is just tomorrow of this year, it was a Friday, I had a big party, um, with, drinks and, cookies and all that stuff, and, we watched a movie in the class. It was a really, really fun-filled Friday. And an episode showing Italian cookies in the baking center of the kitchen was not recorded. So, I was disappointed. But you can find all the clips of Ciao Italia on her website and on YouTube. And, as back then, as now, as today, now. And then I think that the biggest disappointment of an episode that was not recorded of Ciao Italia was probably in, I'd say May. As it got to springtime, she was going to Abruzzi and doing Abruzzi cooking, making a lamb and potato dish of some sort, and then another type of dish. And I remember being so disappointed that it didn't record, and my throat hurt that day, and it didn't really benefit it too much. But overall, I did have a very, very good winter and spring and summer of 2014 when I went to Boston with my family. We went on a plane, we went to Little Italy, we went on the trains, and the subway trains. We also went to famous Italian Delhi to Totaliana, which I saw on an episode of Joe Italia, season 23, which I thought was um, a privilege to go in there. And I just loved the sandwich that I had. Um, and we looked at the House of the Seven Gables and also went on the beach on Saturday, and then that Sunday after that, in addition to the Witch House tour, um, we went on a little boat out into the ocean, which I thought was fun, and then later we laid claim to grilling outside of our hotel room, which was a fancier hotel room. And then the very, very last thing that we did during that trip was watch a space documentary in a museum. So, and I definitely conquered something. I definitely exposed myself to a new place, new culture. Well, not new culture, but new sites, new history. Definitely expanded my horizons and flying. It definitely both opened up and also got over the fear of flying on a plane, which, as you get older, it feels more comfortable, and once you do it more and more and more, you get more used to it. And, when I say getting used to it, I'm talking about the popping sensation. So that summer was filled with going to Indianola Child Care, days on end, going to the I'm trying to think. The summer school miniature reading and math, and then going throughout the day, from the morning till the afternoon of ICC, where I was in, Indianola Child Care, where I was in this group, with like a chaperone, and then we, did fun activities. We went, watched movies, and in the afternoon, we did little excursions where we went to the pool. Sometimes we went to a bowling alley. Went and saw movies. So, it really just depends. And then that was the last year that I was eligible. 2014 was the end of going to ICC, and also summer school. Thank gosh. Thank gosh. And then, um, and this is a little minor detail, but I went there on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so 3 days out of the week, and on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I was not, I didn't go there. I didn't, and when I say go there, I mean do the full throttle thing, both ICC and the summer school. And I don't know why, but the day after we got back from Boston, I went into ICC. If it were to happen now, well, that wouldn't be the case. I'd wait a day or two later to get back to the full throttle thing. It was kind of a nice departure. I wasn't completely bored during those summers, and I'm thinking to myself, why on earth did I even do that? Why on earth did I even go to a child care and didn't stay home for the whole summer? I really, really don't know why. Well, I don't know. You know, it happened the way it happened. But anyway, I watched a variety of Chopped episodes later that summer, and the very, very last big summer thing right before I went into fifth grade was my grandma came and we watched an episode of Julia, an older episode of Julia Child where she was in the kitchen actually cooking and not baking. That was another thing that I got myself into, and also Rick Steves as well. So, and then later on we, went down by Emerson and took a nature trail, which was really fun. Getting into fifth grade, was a complete turnaround from the high that I was on in 2014. It was Thursday in August. I remember, doing the traditional things, getting my folders, getting my notebooks and everything, getting, the locker situation sorted out. Me and my parents, my mom and my dad, went into Wilder. That was the last year of elementary when I was in fifth grade. And full disclosure, before that, one summer afternoon, it was really, really hot. I went with my mom to Fairway and we ran into like a first grade teacher at Wilder Elementary, and I believe that I kind of, and don't tell Shelley Sangley this, but there was kind of a home sort of feeling. Well, at least in the winter and the spring of 2014, there was. But so we ran into her. We ran into this woman, kind of, she was a Rwanda woman, kind of, brown hair, glasses, and we talked to her about we just ran into her very, very quickly. We just talked about, just school and everything. And she said in this tone, um, and I quote, when my mom asked her about, Mrs. Mort, and she said, which would be my fifth grade teacher, she said, "Oh, I like Mrs. Mort. Slightly firm, but very nice. I'm sure that you'll like her and get along." Well, at that point, I was slightly apprehensive, but I thought it would be, I thought that I'd like her, and I think I would have a good relationship. So I was kind of feeling so about that statement. I was not prepared for the fact that, meeting her and getting to know her, Mrs. Mort, named after an Italian ham. Slightly firm? Are you sure? How do you figure? Do you have the faintest idea of who you're talking about, who this person is. Have you ever sat in on her classes and see, her behavior and, how she, her anger, and how she, addresses students who, don't behave at her patience level? It's as if during that year, there was a myriad in place that Mrs. M put a myriad and a spell on all of those other teachers. As nice as they were, they would comply to her. They were compelled to her. She was a master. They would follow. That's how it seemed. It would be so refreshing when I got a set. But in the end, she was still kind of, in the background as someone that they had to back and would go back to and agree with. So anyway, we were walking down to the classroom. This was during open house. We were walking down, so the school is split up. Over to the left side, over here is the red hallway, which has the second grade classrooms. In the middle lines a hallway that has the windows over to the left, and then the library just behind it crosses over to the other side of the building, which is the blue and green hallway. So the blue and green really is the older classrooms, like the higher grade classrooms. And then the red hallway is the lower grade, but our classroom was over to the red hallway, near the right next to the near a couple of second grade classrooms. The very very first thing that I saw is and I think that my mom said, I wonder if Zane's gonna be in our class. Right away I walked past, I probably walked past the classroom. I was right next to it, walked a little bit past. I turned my head just this direction, looked that way, and I saw Zane waving hi to me, which standing right in the entranceway. And then that was the summoning, for me and my parents to go in there. So we went in there because, because that was, that was the telltale sign. We found out, yes, and that was the room that we would go into. And if things had been, if things were to be different, I would be going over to the blue and green hallway where Mrs. Brooks' classroom was. But more on that later. So I went into the classroom. It was a room with a window straight in front of me, facing that direction. And it was a big window, one window with like a metal thing dividing it, and then that and that there, like top down kind of. I don't know how to describe it. There were lockers right on the side of the room, on the trying to think of my directions here. On the like the southeast corner of the room, along the sides, looked something like this. There were tan colored lockers, and you could have your own locker. That was a great thing there. And then right in front of me there was like a shelf that lined, near the carpet area, which was in the same shape. And I'm explaining it as best as I can, but I don't have the details. I think that a picture is worth 1,000 words anyway. Inside those cubbies would be books and things like that. So it was very, very tight knit, very, I want to use the word communal based kind of, family classroom type, very, very connected, very connected, the wing leader and then, the wing leader of the club and then, one room, I guess you could call it, with a rug on the bottom. Mrs. M. The first thing I thought when I looked at her is, which would later be in resemblance to, Miss Sleto, who would be, would come in the year 2017 as someone so much better, so much nicer, as a choral collector, that teacher. I could see my 5th grade teacher sitting in a fancy restaurant that served seafood. I didn't know, it was very, very random. But basically, then she did not have any glasses on. Blonde hair kind of going down to the sides. Didn't, she was, she wasn't, heavy set or anything, but she wasn't thin either. So she was somewhere in between. And so, when we got to, we got to know each other, and, we got introduced, and, she said, I am, Mrs. Morton, welcome to the room, and we talked about a couple of things. She said where I would be sitting. We asked if, because we would be switching classrooms, we didn't know if we would be doing that coming next year in 2015. And she said, no, we're staying in the same room all, from now up until, when 5th grade would be over, so that was good. She seemed very, very nice when I met her there. She seemed, very nice, and, I think that she would be good, and I was kind of taken in, I was thinking, oh, well, she might actually be pretty nice. Yeah, definitely a different personality from my, 4th grade teacher. She was, kind of, so that's kind of what I was feeling and thinking. We left the room. We left, got everything set up on that evening. Prior to that, I watched like a Chow Italian amateur cook, so I was kind of in that, that mindset of kind of an Asian mindset. I don't know. But then we forgot her pen. One of her pens, so we went back and then, delivered it to her, and then we went out of the room. We left, and then that evening, I sat in front of the TV and watched an episode of Rick Steves where he went to Portugal, and then my mom was talking to my grandma about school and about the open house and everything. She would come on Friday and stay on Saturday, and maybe she would leave Sunday. I don't know. But so that was basically the plan, and that the last day of my summer vacation, I wish that it was different. That afternoon, it was sunny. It was beautiful weather. we went to Easter Lake, and there were sailors that were, going in boats and everything like that. And I was really, really upset about that. Because we were down by the docks and everything, we just, apparently just we gave up too easily and went home. Um, but so then we had a nice evening. Went to bed, and then I woke up the next morning feeling in a very poorly mindset. I sat down, watched Show Tell. This was Monday morning, very first day of school. Yeah. I was what was actually happening was I was watching Marian Esposito cook with Jasper White, an episode of season 21, make fish and everything. So I was still on the Show Italian. Later that fall, season 24 episodes would premiere Monday and Friday. But so and I can't remember what season premiered on maybe they repeated season 23 again. I don't know. Now, before I continue with the story, there were some very good memories and some nostalgia that I have from 5th grade. And there were some good moments that I can recall with my teacher where we connected and bonded, but those moments were kind of precious moments, few and far between, and I just the whole relationship, when I got to know her, I just could not relax around her because the whole time I felt like I was walking on eggshells, and I just did not want to engage with her and have her conversation because I didn't know just if she would say anything mean or bad, or what she would do. And I just hope and pray that she was not born in Aries, and I don't think that I actually got to know. I think that if we had a longer relationship, and if I met her now, we would have a very different relationship, and we would understand each other, and I would find that she was a very, very different person. And if I were to know her now, I would talk to her, and I would be honest about how I felt in that situation, and just that's something that just kind of, looking back on it, I feel disappointed that it did not, that I didn't spend enough time with her to really get to know her, and that I only, remember her, for the, for the bad and everything like that. She has a very good heart, but I just think that there was just more times that I can remember. Just things that stick out were, the really bad times when she, did not had a booming, firm voice, and um, and she just did not have